These guys never get it. I just did a video, man. I just did a video on this, and of course, we're starting to see people come to the defense of the, I don't even want to call it a failure. It's just a complete misunderstanding of what it takes to make a successful action-based film, right? That's really all this is. It's less about all of that other nonsense that a lot of people are talking about, and it's more about the simple fact that when you consider Elizabeth Banks, her comments is completely out of touch with reality, and people are trying to set up this narrative that men just don't want to see female-led and fronted action films, which is bogus. And of course, who's going to come to the defense? Who's going to come to the defense of Elizabeth? Paul, I don't never know how to say his last name, Feig. You may know him for directing, and he brags about it, this debacle of a movie in Ghostbusters. And not Ghostbusters, OG Ghostbusters. I'm talking Answer the Call Ghostbusters, which features it's all female. It's just a female version of Ghostbusters, right? Tokenized Ghostbusters everywhere, right? And I actually saw that, unlike I saw Charlie's Angels. And somebody made a comment about the marketing, and we'll get to it. And he's responding to it. Let's go. Now, this person says, he's talking about Ghostbusters. The marketing you did have was to women. So basically saying, hey, you market it to women. And in some cases, this argument, make it or not, he's like perhaps even anti-male. If you want men to attend your film, market to them. Don't exclude them with virtue signaling. Now, this guy had this to say. Anti-male virtue signaling guy, you guys are boring. So a movie starring a woman has an agenda. That's not what he said. Notice how, and again, of course, he's the one because he directed a disaster of a film. So he, of course, has to come to defense because it's a similar idea, right? And it's a similar bulk. Like, that's not even implied. That's not even implied in his comment that he's responding to. A movie starring men is just a movie. A movie starring women is just a movie. But if you make a men movie and it's hating a bunch of females, it'll be just that, right? Or if you target it that, hey, this is a movie for guys, women cannot see this. It's not for you type stuff. It'll be the same thing. But he's saying, so a movie starring women has an agenda, which nobody's implying that, right? Nobody's implying that if it stars women, it has an agenda. That's not what we're saying. That's not what the guy said. That's not what the guy said. He even says just market to him. He never said that he had a problem, or she, the tweeter, never said that they had an issue with female women starring in films. I'm sure Elizabeth, this is what got me. I'm sure Elizabeth is grateful for your mansplaining. Thanks for taking the time to be helpful. Of course, he used the term mans. I thought I would never do a video in which I actually, because it's almost a meme, right? But I never thought I'd do a video in which I'm sitting here having to reply. Well, I don't have to, but I am replying to somebody using the term mansplaining. Because it sounds like a meme that people don't even use that term, right? People actually use that term, believe it or not. And now I'm forced to believe it because this guy's blue check marking this to his name. Look, man, the problem with the Charlie's Angels was the marketing. It is not necessarily the lack thereof in terms of the marketing. It did not do enough to get people interested that maybe weren't looking to see a movie with the thing that makes successful movies successful is that it's able to market to and attract people of different demographics, right? That's the only way you can be successful and kill it in the box office, is if you do that. Now, fortunately, in Charlie's Angels case, it didn't seem to even get the support of all of the women that it was targeting. But in order for it to be successful, you obviously would need men and women to be intrigued by it. Now, if they went about it in a way that maybe even the guy was suggesting it, you can market to men, you can also market to women, meaning that all you're doing is just creating a movie, because every movie, the idea is to attract women and men. Unless, again, you're targeting certain, there's kids movies out there and stuff like that where you're targeting really a specific demographic in that. In this, it seems to be more adult oriented, obviously, and it's targeting. Even Elizabeth was saying that if you don't pay tickets or buy tickets to this movie, then you're basically perpetuating the stereotype that men won't see female-fronted films. And that's obviously not the case. But if it sucks, or it looks like it sucks, and people won't see it. This should have been a straight shot. It should have been a straight shot, right? Charlie's Angels, you got the brand. It's not as strong as some of the others, but it's still a brand. No matter if it's a reboot or not, you could see success. All you had to do was not go out of your way, which is what you did. Unfortunately, you went out of your way, not only on the marketing trail, but you got your own director of the movie making all of these comments that are like, this is all for all the women. So as a grown man, you're telling me not to see this, right? You're telling me not to see it because you are saying that it's not meant for me to see. Therefore, I'm not going to why would I waste my time with that? Unless I'm being dragged there by the lady, which she'd never do that. But that's the only way. It's not just marketing, bro, in terms of like, okay, you got to spend this amount, you got to make it visible. Word of mouth in the age of social media is very strong. If people were talking about the movie and they were like, look, man, this looks like it's gonna be really, really good. Even if you have a female-fronted film and a female-fronted action film at that, all you had to do was market it as such. Market it like a movie that appeals to both men and women. That's a female-fronted movie. You don't have to knock men. You don't have to have your director or your shot callers knocking men on the trail because you're so high and mighty that you don't have to appeal to them, right? Which is weird. You were screwed either way as a man. She said if you didn't see it, you were perpetuating this idea that men don't want to see female-fronted films. And then she's saying, on the other hand, that, well, it's for women. It's like, make up your mind, bro. You can't say it's for women and then men don't see it. And then, what is that? Dude, man, this is simple, dude. This is very, very simple. If you market it to men, not going out of your way, even though we know, we can see that it's a female-fronted film with female stars. We can see that. That's okay. I have no problem seeing a movie with, that's female-fronted. None whatsoever. What I won't see is something that isn't for me, and you've told me that it's not for me, so I'm like, all right, well, I gotta take your word for it. I'm not gonna go see it. Like, it's an action movie. I'm an action movie guy. So though I didn't have an interest in seeing this, if it was action enough, I'm not a Bond guy, but there's been Bond movies in the past, or 007 or what have you movies in the past that I've seen in theaters that because it looked like it was going to be something that I was interested in. Even though that's not necessarily a franchise that I'm interested in. So it can be done. It's been done. We've seen it done movie after movie after movie. But you promote your film as this movie for females, movie for women. And fine, okay, it's for women. Fine. You better hope women show up by the numbers. I mean, historic numbers if you want it to be a success, because you got to get all the women to go see it because you've said that it's not for us. It's not for bros. All right, fine. Go look at the promotion and the marketing schemes that were done for movies like Alita and compare and contrast. Like, men don't even really have a problem. There may be some out there, and there are some out there, actually. I know that. But for the most part, men don't have an issue with even, of course, you acknowledging your femininity. Actually, it would be preferred. I mean, if you wanted to go look at the intrigue of the first or the more recent Charlie's Angels with Lucy Liu in the crew. Like, it that isn't the case. It's not that they're against femininity or anything. You can acknowledge that. You can be a woman and still get guys to come see your movie. You can, believe it or not. It's possible. It's not that even that difficult. But if you're going to get on the campaign trail insulting men and then overemphasizing the fact this is for the women, all right, fine. It's for women. That's fine. I ain't got nothing against that. But if we don't see it, if men don't go see it, or I'm not intrigued to go see it, simple as that. But of course, the person that's coming to the defense is another person that made the same mistake. Maybe it wasn't his mistake. He was just director. But same mistake, man. Of course. Of course. You know who I'm quoting if you know who I'm quoting.